Tuesday was the first big primary day of the 2018 election. Now we're going to be in a situation in which we have a number of primaries almost every week going forward for the next several months. A lot of these primaries will have a real impact on whether Democrats are going to win back the House or the Senate. One of the big winners was the Republicans avoiding their nightmare scenario in West Virginia. In recent days, it's looked like Don Blankenship, a former energy company CEO who oversaw a tragedy in which 29 people died in one of his coal mines, has run a very kind of racial dog whistle campaign.
I don't see this insinuation by the press that there's something racist about saying a China person.
There was real sense that he had some momentum. He wound up finishing third in this race behind the GOP's two chosen candidates. That's going to give Republicans a much better chance of winning a key seat in November against Senator Joe Manchin. Another big winner was women candidates. We have seen a record number of women file for office this year in the aftermath of Donald Trump's election, the Women's March, the Me Too movement. But getting the women to run is only part of the battle. Also having them win has been a very difficult proposition for a number of years. There were 19 Democratic House primaries on Tuesday in which there was at least one female candidate. In more than 80% of those races, the Democratic nominee will be a woman. One of the biggest losers on Tuesday was anybody with the title congressman. In Indiana, we had two congressmen lose to an outsider businessman.
Lived your life, first of all, in the trenches of conservatism, not through the lens of a politician.
In West Virginia, a congressman lost to the state attorney general. In Ohio, we had a Democratic former congressman, Dennis Kucinich, losing the gubernatorial primary. And even in the Ohio Republican Senate primary, there was a congressman running who was expected to win, had President Trump's support, and he wound up winning by a much smaller than expected margin. And finally, we saw our first House incumbent lose a primary of this election cycle. Robert Pittenger in North Carolina lost to Mark Harris. The other big loser that I saw on Tuesday night was what I call the bear hug Trump strategy. We've seen a lot of candidates as this primary season has gotten off the ground doing basically whatever they can to associate themselves with the president.
The war to drain the swamp and create jobs for West Virginia people has begun.
We even saw a candidate in North Carolina who wouldn't go barely 30 seconds without mentioning Trump when he was talking to reporters. All of these candidates lost on Tuesday. Now that may not be because they bear hug Trump so much, but it shows that the strategy isn't necessarily as fruitful as some candidates would like it to be.